Welcome back to Rating the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movies lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad, and on this episode, we'll be exploring number 3 from Sports Illustrated's The Top 50 Sports Movies of All Time.
All right, and number 3 is Raging Bull, released in 1980, directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro, Kathy Moriarty, and Joe Pesci.
Raging Bull, the true-life depiction of heavyweight champion Jake LaMotta, whose violence led him to the top in his profession and to his personal destruction. Yeah, so there's a lot of boxing movies on this list.
So many boxing movies.
So we're kind of like, by the time we got to this,
we're over it.
Kind of over the boxing movies a little bit, so...
I mean, as far as boxing movies, this is really the standout, one of the standouts, right?
I mean, it's, in terms of the craft of filmmaking, this movie is impeccable. I mean, the black and white photography, the sound design, the music, the performances, it's really, really good, but it is also a really difficult movie. You're dealing with, frankly, an unlikable person. Jake LaMotta is not really a likable person for the most part.
I don't think any of the characters in this movie are likable people.
I mean, Kathy Moriarty's character...
I mean, she's whatever. Like in all Martin Scorsese movies,
yes.
She's whatever.
Yeah, she's, kind of cast aside in terms of other things. But, I mean, he's a super violent person, which, there's this, this kind of narrative that you go through. Like, there are plenty of boxers who don't also beat the crap out of their wives or other people. You know what I mean? They can...
What I'd like to know is, like, why did Martin Scorsese make this movie? Like, why did he say, you know what? People need to see Jake LaMotta's story.
I don't know. I've never really, looked into it. I mean, I think he's always struck me as the kind of filmmaker where something just about it kind of calls to him. And maybe it's not even like Jake LaMotta, but maybe it's, I could shoot this in black and white or something like that. I mean, it's a New York story. He's a New York guy. There's always that. I mean, who knows? Maybe he met Jake LaMotta in real life. Maybe when he was a kid, when he was kind of at his heyday. I think Martin Scorsese would have been really little, but maybe towards that kind of end of it. He might have been I mean, he's in contemporary of our parents. Scorsese, he's 85, I think.
Yeah, I also think
maybe he was a little kid when Jake LaMotta was fighting, and maybe that's why. I don't know. I've never heard him talk about boxing, so I don't even know if he's this huge boxing fan.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I think that Scorsese he's made a lot of good movies, and most of them focus around gangsters, violence, right?
A lot of them do. I think
most of them do.
Well, I think the ones that people really, really talk about do, but he's made a lot of other movies that are not that way.
Well, I think that at the time when he was did this movie, he was still kind of up and coming, yeah? What year did this come out?
No, this came out in 80. He was well established by then.
But what I'm trying to say is that I think that Martin Scorsese kind of aligned this boxer with a gangster. Because he had very gangster tendencies.
I think it's more of just he's drawn to these really... I think he finds interest in really flawed male protagonists. I really think that, because I think if you look at most of the females in his movies, they're just kind of there.
Yeah, I
just don't think that interests him. I think
the only one that I thought that was kind of fleshed out, there's two female leads in his movies that I think are fleshed out. One is the wife to Ray in what's that movie? God dang it. The gangster movie with Ray Liotta.
Goodfellas?
Goodfellas.
That one?
Yeah, thank you. I
Well,
kept saying wanting to say Untouchables, but she seems kind of like I want what he wants,
mhm.
and then also
And it's also like if you think about it, that movie is voiceover.
hmm
She has voiceover in that movie, so there's a
hmm
portion of the movie that's told through her POV, which is a little different for him.
yeah, yeah, I agree. It's just interesting to me because I feel like, in my opinion, it's like, why do we always showcase these assholes? Like we just showcase people that
I think because they're on screen, they're more interesting than like quote unquote normal people who just
true,
go about.
true.
I mean, how interesting would it be to like watch me like finish my work day, cook my dinner, and sit on the couch and watch TV?
Right. Yeah. But I mean, then we have the other movie we're going to discuss in a little bit where the character is a good person who has flaws, right?
I agree.
Um so I don't know.
I think Martin Scorsese, like I said, I think he innately is drawn to those people because I think those are the people that he grew up around.
mm,
I think when he's making these movies, the the Harvey Keitels, the Robert De Niro's, the Joe Pesci characters that are in his movies, those are his neighborhood guys.
got it.
That's what I think.
Hmm.
And interestingly, like his first movie, you know who his first movie is, right? It's centered around a woman. It's Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Okay.
It's his first movie.
Yeah, I don't know why he doesn't I don't know what that's about. But anyway, this movie is very well filmed,
Yes.
very well acted. It's just outstanding when it comes especially to other boxing movies. Do I want to run again and watch it? No.
It's shot a little differently than other boxing movies too. It's almost shot operatically.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's stuff that's like over the top, like like the blood like flying over all the people and like the first row and stuff like that. I think that's by design. I don't think that's meant to be.
Well, I think he's trying to
realistic.
get it across at how bloody and violent the
Yeah.
sport is, right?
Yes.
And two, he, the sounds when they're in the ring as well. You really hear like
Yeah.
the punches and the, it's really hard to watch this movie for me. It's, like I said, it's very well done, but it's very hard for me
What's
to
hard
watch.
What's hard for me to watch is not the boxing part of it, it's the rest where
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is like, he's an adult, he steps out on his wife with a girl who's like 16, 17, who he ends up marrying, and then they're, like later in life, they're more younger girl. It's like, I don't want to see that, man.
Yeah, and I think that he's a very, very, throughout the whole movie, there's no arc for him.
Yeah.
He's very like self-conscious and insecure, and he portrays that in everything that he does. He's always like, did I do a good job? Can I beat that guy? Do you think I'm better than that guy? I'm better than that guy. Is she stepping out on me? Is she seeing somebody else? He's very, very, very
He has like no like, I mean, he's so jealous and he's so insecure, and it's just like, I mean, that's really what the story is really about. It's just like, this guy had all the talent to be the best, and he was so talented that he eventually reached that limit, but he couldn't stay there because he just couldn't sustain it, because he hated himself, and he just couldn't see, and like there was always someone was always out to get him. And the one thing I kind of like about the story is, there's kind of a little bit of a through line of just because you're not, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. Like, we don't know, like, was she stepping out or not? I mean, in real life, the Kathy Moriarty character, I can't even remember her name. She basically said, I never stepped out on him, that kind of stuff. And, you know, like, I don't think they ever got around to ever talking to his brother. I just think there was, like, he wanted nothing to do with it. But even then, it's just like, you know, he doesn't deny stuff. It's almost like, how dare you ask me, instead of just saying no.
Yeah.
So you never quite know. That might just be his way of saying no, but you never know, because, you know, so, you know, he kind of frames it that way. The one thing I think he does really well, and I don't think he gets recognition for, is he doesn't lionize these people.
No.
Like, he doesn't make them out to be heroes or whatever. I think some people take away that message sometimes, but I don't think he sets it up that way.
Not with this character in particular.
Yeah, I don't think he does it with any of them. Like, you know, like, even like Ray Liotta's character at the end of it, I mean, he's like in witness protection. He's got to eat, you know, spaghetti with ketchup, you know, noodles with ketchup. And then you've got, like in Casino, that guy is just basically like back to doing what he was doing for like nothing, and, you know, just kind of a shell of like what he used to be. So I think he does a pretty good job with that. I think he does a really good job with it in this movie. I mean, there's no way to make this guy look good.
No.
There really isn't.
No, there isn't. And I think too, like, for his relationship with Moriarty's character, to me it seemed like he was sick of his wife because she spoke up, yelled at him, always told him he was doing something wrong, which he was. And I think he felt like getting a younger girl he could control, and she wouldn't put up a fight.
And it seemed like at first that was what it was. And then, you know, like what generally happens with, you know, young women become older women and kind of
they can't put up with it anymore.
They can't put up. Well, it's not just that, they mature.
Yeah.
And they understand the world a little bit better, and they understand the guy that they're with a little bit better, and, you know, just people change. That's why a lot of people who get married really young, don't quite last, because they grow apart.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for like the kinds of reasons that happen in this movie, but just in general, because people change. And that's what happened with her. She evolved, and he never does.
So do you think his brother started hating him because they started fighting, or do you think he always hated him?
I think he always hated him.
Yeah, me too. I think he felt, for some reason, he felt obligated.
I think he felt obligated because his brother's not very smart.
Yeah, he felt obligated to take care of him and make sure, you know, he kind of became his manager, right?
Basically.
So, you know, he was putting together boxing matches for him, and through the course of the movie, though, you can see him resenting his brother more and more and more.
Yeah.
And just not wanting to be
because his
with him.
Part of it too is, you know, Jake wouldn't play the game sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, look, dude, you gotta give him this one.
Yeah.
You know, you just get like, you know, there's a reason that we're doing this. If you do this, you have fast track to the heavyweight fight, and you just couldn't do it. And it's like, it causes all kinds of problems for him. And he's got to stick up for his brother and get into fights with other guys. It's just like, it's
too much.
And he just got to be too much. And he's just like, I don't want to deal with it. And then his brother doesn't actually ever appreciate any of the stuff that he's doing.
Nope. No.
So,
how did we rank it?
I gave it an 81. You gave it a 79. So the list score is 80.
All right. Let us know how you feel about Raging Bull. You can put a comment in this video, or you can contact us directly at ratingthelist@gmail.com. But I think that's it for now. I'm Jerry.
I'm Brad.
And we're Rating the List. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.